And we're live.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new edition of the Fans of Power podcast. Before we get into it, I need to take this time to issue two apologies. I didn't talk to Joe or Nathan about this at all. First one is to Joe. We always make fun of Joe for being cheap on here, but I really want to apologize for thinking Joe's like the cheapest person I know. And I need to apologize to the Origins Toyline. I've been really hard on them for a long time, and to Mattel. And I really just have to say I'm sorry for ragging on the Toyline so much, because if I had known that Mattel could be so fucking cheap and lower the bar so low that I would have never said anything bad about Origins if I knew this fucking shit was going to be introduced to us. So, Joe, you are no longer the cheapest person I know. It is the shitstorm, the perfect shitstorm company that is Mattel. Because that's what we got coming towards us. If this is what we're getting in a new animated series, we're fucked.
And there's going to be quite a bit to say about that. And you're right, because I take pride in being the cheapest person. But you're right, things are going to be topped. But yes, something will be said about all the stuff that you talk about.
Mops coming out of their wallet.
There is a lot we're going to be saying tonight. We're all going to be ranting like crazy. So first, quickly for the participants that are in the chat room, let me say hello to 3 Live Stream, Aaron Anderson, Adam Gabbert, Andy Yowsey, Darth Baca, Fedmon, Grimbot, Jason Havlick, Joe... I said my
What
fucking
the fuck,
name.
Joe?
Johnny... Idiot, Johnny Cock, Rebecca Cox.
I thought you said Johnny Cochran.
No, wait.
No,
I like the back-to-back. Johnny Cock, Rebecca Cox. Try to say that 5 times.
And Rebecca
Cox in the room tonight here.
What are the odds? There's 2. Yeah, but we have Rebecca Cox, Sportimus.
A podcast of dicks anyway, so why not?
Eric Sanchez, Sportimus, Zen Brown. Thank you for joining us. And I just looked. I love that bubble that I have right there. I don't know if Papa Hud 69 is here right now because I didn't see in the participants. Maybe he commented, but you're seeing him right there in that balloon bubble above me because I want to say happy belated birthday to him. But he said, Joe, I'm going to go to Popeye's Chicken. What should I get? And I said, get the 7-piece for $5.99. He couldn't find it, but he got the 9-piece. He went to our Fans of Power Facebook group, and he proceeded to eat all 9 pieces of that chicken, and it got me starving. So hungry to where I had to go to Popeye's Chicken. So, Papa Hud 69, thank you for that. And that's who you're seeing. And I didn't expect that, Nathan. That's pretty cool.
That is...
cool.
Yeah, I imagine you can assume who was behind making that happen. I got the message, hey, I sent you an email. You got to put that on the screen. I was like,
oh, let me guess.
You got it.
Grimbot.
Yep. Guys, that's why he was so flustered that's why he said his own name when he's looking through the list of participants in the live chats, because he's still thinking about that chicken.
No doubt. So first that, then I wanted to thank you, Nathan. Before we get on to the rambling, like I said, we'll get to all the chat room, of course, when it comes to Q&A. But I did want to thank Nathan because now you guys get to see the whole and all its glory in this. This is my 14-year-old wallet. It's all been emptied now, but you can see. Look how bad I can stick my fingers through the holes. The mesh is small.
So Joe
Look at
his
it.
pennies.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Joe!
Yeah, it's like, goddamn, this is what I've had
on Salute Your Shorts.
He doesn't know what that is.
I know he doesn't.
I don't.
Maybe somebody in the chat room does.
But I did have this for 14 years. This has been in my wallet. So when I cleaned this out, I was so pissed that I found this. It was for a free small drink.
I thought that was a condom.
Well, I mean,
keeps dropping condoms out of his hole in the wallet. Tells the girl's like, oh, I guess you gotta customize the condom. I can use a bed sheet.
That probably expired just like this coupon did.
Yeah.
There you go. This coupon from McDonald's, and it was for a free small drink at McDonald's, and this expired back in November 13th, 2007.
Jesus
so
Christ.
I've had this for 14.
In his wallet.
I've had it in my wallet for 14.
Is that one of the Monopoly pieces or something?
Yeah. It's one of the Monopoly pieces, the game piece you got. So I've had it for 14. I was so pissed. So I told Nathan, I was like, maybe this week I'll try to see if they'll redeem it if I'm pitiful enough. Maybe they'll, I'll say, hey, I've had this for 14 years. I didn't know I had it. Can I get a free drink? Maybe they'll feel sorry for me.
Joe, all of their fountain drinks at McDonald's, no matter the size, are $1. That's like right up your alley.
Well, it's $1 to save for something else. That's what I mean. If I could save $1, I'd save $1. So
you might want to see if Mattel's interested in taking that.
Right. And before we'll get into, here's what Nathan sent me. Nathan, it's a fantastic wallet, really good. And I was able to put my Kroger card in there, and it holds money good. So I got some money.
Where do you put your condoms at?
Where's your? I bet. Did you make sure to take your driver's license out of there so we wouldn't see your face?
I did. Yeah. I almost made a mistake. I was like, oh shit, I was gonna flip it open, but I do have a few dollars.
Joe, that would have been a cool teaser if you would have flipped it open really quick, because the way your connection is, it would have been fuzzy anyway. It would have been like Bigfoot, you know. People would have been like, I saw him. I saw his face.
And somebody would have froze it on that. But like I said, and I have almost my $7. $6 saved up for Popeye's chicken, so I put so I got $4 saved up, and $2 more. I'll get my Popeye's chicken. So Nathan, thank you for this wallet. It's an awesome wallet. I appreciate it. So that's my new wallet.
You're welcome. You needed a new fucking wallet, and like that night after we got done with the show, I made a couple more drinks. I was sitting there watching a movie. I was getting a little toasty, and I was like, I'm gonna buy Joe a wallet because I have his address. So just go on Amazon and start looking up. I searched Velcro wallets for men, and that way
they probably just find it for kids.
That's why I had to specify for men, and those popped up, and I was like, that doesn't look like it has Velcro on it. So I started reading the reviews. I spent way more time on this than I ever needed to, and they're like, yes. You go to the a Q&A portion of the product, and they're like, yes, it has Velcro. This is blah blah blah, and I'm like, all right, that should work. I'm like, Joe, go get your package when Amazon was here. I'm like, don't let them steal your wallet.
And I appreciate. I do want to apologize because my connection might go glitchy. It's same poor connection again, so I might even be glitching as I'm talking. Not sure, but they didn't knock or ring the doorbell, and the package almost did blow away. So I was lucky that I opened up because they didn't ring the doorbell. It was sitting right there and almost blew right away. So I did get it. But thanks again, Nathan. You didn't have to do it, but I do appreciate it.
Can we really get one more? Just put it right up there to your microphone. Just open it up. We want to hear what everyone.
That's a nice.
We want to hear what everyone hears when you're going there at the checkout at your local grocery store. This is what the ladies hear. This is how his Velcro brings all the girls to the yard.
This is how you impress the ladies. Not those fucking fancy leather wallets. It's this. That right there, baby.
Says, let me roll my condom here. As he goes for his card.
Right there under the Kroger card. Son of a bitch.
I feel like
again, like flicks it out on the count. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Let me grab that.
Actually,
let me grab that Magnum out of your way.
No. Here's what it is, because a box of condoms, depending on the brand that you get, I feel like Joe was probably more like a Durex man, but even then,
he might be one of those Rough Riders, just 50-cent ones in the men's bathroom.
But I'm thinking what Joe does is probably he just we don't need the condoms. He just goes and buys the 100-count vinyl gloves in that big in the box for.
Yeah, it's like once bit, and it's like Jamie and once bit.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that shit? But no, again, thanks for that. Also, I did want to say
I'm going raw dog here.
I also wanted to say a happy early birthday tomorrow for Girly Girl Anderson. That's Aaron Anderson's wife in the chat room. So happy early birthday to you. And now we can get into session. It's going to go crazy because it's going to be all of us. And first, let me just give a little context to this before we all get going. This is the first time that you could say everybody sounded like Joe and Tyler. And I'm not bullshitting. Everybody. Yeah, everybody, because I was seeing posts first all over Facebook, and it wasn't pretty, it wasn't nice. Then somebody sent me a message. They said, Joe, did you see Dan Early's video about the upcoming figures? And I said, I'll be honest, I don't watch videos because I just don't watch review videos. Nothing against him. I just don't watch review videos, just like I don't watch previews or anything else. When the figures come, it comes. They said, you might want to check this out. So I went and I went over there to watch. Dan is not a fan of these figures. And he was actually speaking his mind. So because everybody says Dan usually is pretty positive about things because that's just how it is. He likes to keep things positive. He doesn't go nuts like Tyler and I do. But this time, from what I heard, like I said, I've never seen his video, so I don't know. But I was like, it doesn't seem like he really held back. So when you're having everybody in the community basically shit on the designs and look of these and being critical, because like I said, we want something positive for Masters of the Universe. We don't say this to be negative. We want it to be treated with the utmost respect and have it, something that's exciting for, yes, a new generation of kids, but us as well, as we'll be buying. And when you have the whole community just basically going...
I don't know if the community can be buying much of this shit.
Yeah, because it's crazy, and I don't know which ones you... I figured, we'd start with the He-Man and the Masters Universe first before we go into the Masterverse figures. So that's when cue it to you.
Oh, my God, this whole Masterverse bullshit, too,
Yeah, so I will pass...
I went ahead and I have it here on the screen for all its glory. The thing I want to stress, once again... These are just opinions. You can agree with these, you can disagree with these. It's fine, no matter what. As Joe said, it is quite hilarious, though, that for the most part, that the pendulum has just swung completely over to a vast majority of people being like, what is this? And here they are. If you guys have not seen any of this stuff yet, this is the CGI kitty cartoon here at the bottom of your screen, and then here is the revelation. We have Skeletor, He-Man, and if this alternate head was not here, I don't think anybody would even know who.
I had to do a double take because who the hell was that? And I thought, oh my God, that's Evil Lyn.
Everybody who's seen that picture said, "Who's that guy?" Nobody knew it was Evil Lyn until that head there. They're like, "Oh, Evil Lyn, what an interesting redesign of an outfit." But we'll get to that in a second. First, let's look at this new He-Man and the Masters of the Universe stuff. All right, we have He-Man to where obviously his entire body is basically covered up. Some new emblem on his chest which is not recognizable, a sword that's not recognizable. And what pisses me off is, like I said, in which I'll get to He-Man and an identity of a symbol when we get to the Masters of the Universe one on the top. But this one, how does anybody know that would be He-Man? If you were to see that symbol, you wouldn't know it was He-Man. If you've seen that sword, you wouldn't know it was He-Man. Now that's the thing. At least He-Man always had his power sword. That's a pop culture iconic thing that when people see, they know that's He-Man. Now everything's been stripped. Nothing of that looks like He-Man. Nothing of Battle Cat looks like Battle Cat. And what is this damn thing where they think, to wow the kids, let's 2000X spike everything up? Because first they tried that with obviously 2000X. Let's give all these edges and spikes and attachments and shit, because that's what the focus groups... What focus group? I'd love to know these focus groups. These are the same kids that watch fucking wrestling, for God's sake. And by the way, wrestlers wear a pair of trunks and shoes, and sometimes not even shoes. They're barefoot. So don't tell me, oh, kids wouldn't really want to see a guy that looks like he's half naked. Bullshit. Especially when they're tuning in something of fantasy. But let's get to this fucking design of Battle Cat that I want to get at first.
He looks like a damn robot.
Exactly. It's like you're covering his ass up almost head to toe. They think, okay, first, he's a fantasy tiger, for fuck's sake. Don't you think his razor-sharp claws are good enough to shred through things? But no, let's add some shit on to where, picture the aesthetic of a cat running. When you'd cover up its paws to where it can't move, it can't fucking run. So that aesthetic makes zero sense anyways, which is what I hate. They also did that with the 2000X one, which, by the way, like I said, I don't know if the same people that were working on like Snake Armor, He-Man, and this shit, line was also doing this new stuff. But just when here, for example, I'm gonna grab this. This is the crazy ass 2000X one. I mean, they added all these fucking extra gun attachments. Like, okay, that looks like horse shit. It's busy as fuck. Wasn't in the cartoon, and you see as the claws. But Mattel thought, hey, remember, kids love this kind of shit. So you know what? Let's up this up to this fucking nonsense of samurai. Look, I mean, it's like it got even busier, but it's like Mattel was like, hey, obviously as the kids love this, let's up it one more time. To where, holy fuck, I don't know if you guys are ready for this. Mecha Crunch. What in the blue
God, I've never
shit?
even seen, outside of pictures,
No?
I've just...
Look at this, Tyler. Look at how fucking busy. A gun on the back, a thing in the front. And if their focus groups then, and the same one now, is so accurate, why the fuck didn't kids buy into this? No kids even gave a fuck. Us adults were buying this nonsense shit. Kids didn't want it. But apparently, hey, this was such a success. Let's do it again for this new line and watch it fucking fail. So now I'm passing you, Tyler, because this is absolute shit. And we can see the shit coming.
I I feel like this is just treating kids like they're idiots. This is not. It's not He-Man. They went as far away from the actual look. I mean, when I think He-Man, you can fans and the toy lines and the books and stuff have done interpretations that when we look at it we see He-Man. This is not He-Man. I can't imagine what they've done to Skeletor or Man-at-Arms. I mean, Man-at-Arms probably looks like a damn satellite with all the shit they probably put on him. But Joe made an excellent point that if kids are watching wrestling or a lot of other super stuff where the body is visible, I mean, are you saying that kids like watch wrestlers take their shirts off or come out in trunks like, ooh, gross, it's almost a half naked man? I can't play with an action figure of that, even though that's what you find at your local Walmart and Target, are figures of half naked men. So obviously the good people at Mattel, the smart people at Mattel, listen to maybe a small group of like 2 kids, and it's probably like the brand manager's nephew and son, some shit like that.
Yeah, wouldn't doubt it.
And just decided that kids don't want to see half naked man. We need to cover everybody up because or someone who's ultra conservative and envious of people who have well built bodies, male and female, want to make sure that they are covered up from head to toe, that the females have nothing visible, not even their pretty legs or anything like that. And we sure as hell don't want to see the men running around in anything that shows a pectoral or a bicep or a shoulder or a trap muscle or a quadricep. Oh, no, we can't have that. I think it's not He-Man. The sword is an abomination.
Oh, God,
I will say, I think Battle Cat is probably the biggest offender because he looks like a damn Transformer. He doesn't look like Battle Cat at all. He-Man,
why cover them head to toe? You're right. It's like they're covering them from head to toe. You can't see what's underneath. Yeah.
I'll say this. That because we talked about before how Masters Universe hasn't had as many cracks at having an animated show and a toy line like all these other properties. Think about Turtles. Think about like Transformers, G.I. Joes. All of them have gone through a sort of evolution where it changes a little bit, or like the new cartoon is sort of a way more of a departure than what we're used to, and I think that would be the case with this. Does it look like shit? Yeah, but I think with this, with their plan, from just based off of this, the way that the text and everything is, I think that this show is going to have way more like futuristic technology infused into it. And maybe that's just their way of trying to be like, well, maybe this would stick a little bit better. Instead, like if we do more of this and change the look up of sort of the loincloths and the barbaric aspects of it. Maybe they're just trying to go in a different direction. Now, I'm not saying that...
Well, they tried to go the futuristic route with He-Man, and it failed, unfortunately. This looks... I'm sorry, you people who are down on New Adventures, you can't possibly say that New Adventures is on the same level as this horse shit. If they are going for... And Nathan's probably right. They are probably going for a much more futuristic look. Well, that ain't He-Man. He-Man is a mix of science and sorcery.
Oh, I get that.
This is all science.
Yeah, I think that's just them saying, well, we have the opportunity to have 2 shows. Why not have one that mostly maintains that aspect that everyone's used to, and let's play around a little bit with this other one that would probably obviously be... And there's more images that I didn't put up that this one is definitely aimed at kids. Maybe they're like, well, let's try something different for the kids. It's like they've done with everything else.
And this has been brought up a few times, and Nathan made me think of this too, is that every time, Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, hell, even Star Wars, I don't like to include Star Wars in the 80s stuff because to me it's like more, I don't associate it with the core 80s flagship.
Well, I mean, that kind of ended right as all of this was picking up steam.
Yeah, it pretty much is. All these lines were taken off, but people love to lump in Darth Vader with all the villains of the 80s. Like, no. But anyway, you don't find multiple lines of these franchises going on at the same time. Like you don't find multiple Transformers lines that are like you may
I
have.
mean, now Transformers is doing that. There are multiple lines of Transformers that are on the shelves.
But they're all close together. Well, yeah, I guess, yeah.
I mean, think about it. They have that other one where like all of the Transformers look kind of kitty and shitty like, right? And then you have the Cybertron ones.
I stand corrected on that one.
I think they're doing anything they can. All of these toy companies are doing anything they can to try to have that mix of adult collector and kids in the aisle. They want the kids back in the toy aisle. That's the main thing. They haven't had that for a while now. They're doing whatever they can.
Well, and I was feeling, well, hell, if Transformers isn't really pulling the kids in, you still hearing about. I mean, I live in my own personal bubble, so I can't sit there and quote the truth here, but I still get the vibe that Transformers is still heavily populated by adult collectors in our age range. I'm sure, yes, I'm not saying there aren't exceptions, but I still feel like the hot Transformer toys are adults buying the Red series and the Siege on Cyber or War for Cybertron or Siege on Cybertron, whatever it's called.
They did a weird thing with that too, where it's War for Cybertron, Siege on Cybertron, and then there's like the Earth stuff. They have it broken up with how Netflix is distributing the show and the parts that they're doing it in. All of it's just kind of odd. We're in a weird space with this now because you have figures out there on the shelf that don't have a cartoon to support it, and we're gonna have this, and that will all be there. But it's just weird how some stuff has things, some stuff doesn't.
Well, yeah, that's going to confuse the hell out of kids then, because if these assholes are saying that this Origins line is meant for kids when they're trying to dismiss the adult fans for being pissed off about any of it, so you're going to change gears within a year and introduce two more lines and say that one is for the kids, even though this other line was for the kids, like. What if for some reason that these kids you say are all about this line? What makes you think that they wouldn't like this design that you've already thrown out on those toy shelves for them already, and now you're going to do a complete 180 and give them something else and say it's the same damn character, the same Battle Cat, the same Skeletor?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? If you're marketing that towards kids, I mean, hell, not even Ninja Turtles has done that. If they run one line for a while. Thank God that last piece of shit one failed. But it's like, okay, we tried that one. We'll do something else. And Seth Rogen's attached to that. Oh, man, a bunch of pot-smoking turtles. I just like, are they trying to shoot both their feet off? Like, with nothing to really push this with the kids, because, yes, they need animated programs to go along with this stuff. They go hand in hand. And, oh, my God.
I know. You were about to say that you were circling. I feel like that's what they're doing with all of this. We're all just sort of circling the drain here. It's either all or nothing. It's either you have this on the shelf and it's overkill, and it's either everyone's going to go out and buy it, or people are going to be selective. Most of the people here with the Masterverse figures I've seen, they're like, I don't have room to collect any of this. I'll stick with Origins. I have my classics. I have my vintage. So it's like you have to pick and choose. And it's ridiculous when you think about it. Because it's like if you collect...
Well, and I will say, to piggyback on what Nathan just said too, and we'll get around this when we get to Revelation, but I saw more people making the point to say they are sticking with Origins or they miss classics. That was the unanimous consent, pretty much with damn near everybody. And I checked out multiple feeds myself. I listened to Pixel Dan's video. So I did, part of me, when they first got announced, I'm like, God, there's actually some people, like, I can't argue with people. If they like it, they like it. But what I do have a problem with, and I saw this in something, fortunately, these assholes were in the minority, the vast minority, where they didn't have an opinion whether they liked it or not. They just want to come in and condemn those who didn't like it. And to me, those pricks are softer than a lamb's orgasm. I mean, they don't have a thought on He-Man at all. It's just to denounce anyone. Oh, you're just a bunch of grown-ass men. You don't like anything. You don't like change. You're all stuck in the past, a bunch of angry grandpas. And oh, yeah. I had to look up one of those assholes just to say, who the hell is saying this shit? Yeah, he's softer than a lamb's orgasm for sure. Only an asshole like this.
Where did you pull that reference from? What is that from?
Oh, that's from the Bro Science videos. I was making fun of douchebags in the gym.
Okay.
Yeah. And when I see people saying that, not saying that they think they're great or saying that they'll pass, they're pretty much becoming a self-appointed street evangelist, telling people that they're living their lives wrong, that you don't have the right to feel this way. You need to embrace change because I'm telling you, Chip Douglas or whatever the hell, their jerk-off name is, telling Joe and Nathan and me and the people in the chat room, people who listen to this, that if you just hate it because, you must hate change and you're still stuck in the past and you got to get out of this. You just,
that does bring up a point. And I'll ask this for both of you guys. With this He-Man and the Masters of the Universe one down here, if they kept the look generally the same, wouldn't that almost be too boring? To you, like to have Revelation up here and then to have this down here and they look virtually the same.
I don't think so. No, actually, I don't, because I think what they do is if they kept it look virtually the same as we know, in a different style, though, as you see, that's a very vast different style from what those Masterverse figures are. At least kids can have options of He-Man looking like this or that or both. But what you're doing now is you're having one that is so vastly different. You automatically turned off the original fans because they're like, that shit, guaranteed that line is going to be the worst selling because us fans, we're buying Origins. I've said it before. Do I hate some of the heads on Origins? Yes, but I collect them. Mastersverse, gotta still see them more in person, but that's probably the line I'm leaning towards. As for this new He-Man in the Master Universe, you've basically lost every fucking original fan and guaranteed the new kids ain't gonna like it. That line is gonna be the fucking failure. So no, but at least have He-Man aesthetically look with the type of design of his harness with Battle Cat to where, Jesus Christ, could you just give us fucking Battle Cat like this? But yes, in that new style, did you have to have him covered fucking head to toe? Like, Tyler said, he looks like almost like a Transformer. It's like, what in the fuck am I looking at? It's like they're meshing two styles that makes no sense. They're going way futuristic in tech and not the sword and sorcery. It's like we were saying earlier, but it's too tech-like. It's like, man, it's fucking horrible to look at, but I've seen nobody that said, man, I'm all aboard. I like those He-Man the Master Universe looking figures. Nobody said that. There might be some, but yeah, the reason we say this, no, we don't live in the past, because I've said it before. I love the 2000 fucking X figures, minus that shitty Battle Cat, but I like the 2000 X figures, and I like the MYP cartoon. I didn't have a fucking problem with it. So those who say, oh, you don't like change, you just want to have stuff from Filmation and the vintage. No, this fucking worked, but that He-Man and the Master Universe is not working, and the Mastersverse one's coming up. There's some shit looks weird. I don't think there's going to be time for change.
$25 for those things? Who the fuck is going to pay $25 a piece for that shitty Evelyn, that shitty He-Man and Battle Cat, and that flatline Skeletor?
Let's get to the Skeletor. First, okay, I'm just going to talk about, like, his cape is just weird as fuck. I don't know if it's the angle, the image, but it looks like a really bland, cheap cape. Everybody's talked about the flat hand option. Is he shaking everybody's hands? Is he, going to have wood in front that he's chopping?
Probably I don't understand. His hand up like he's casting a spell or some shit.
But it's like, it's not even like this. Like, okay, even the vintage figures. You have the holding hand and the curled fingers, but you could still get a sword around. This one is like, he's basically flat hand, like, hi, I don't get it. Horrible design choice. Face, I actually don't fucking have a problem with it because, like, okay, it kind of has an MYP vibe, whatever, but it's going to have a lot more other articulation. I don't know if that will make the figures real loose and weird, but Skeletor is the one that he had a couple critiques for me, but I didn't get as annoyed as him as the other two, but Tyler, you can say what you were thinking of Skeletor as well before we get to the others.
I think Skeletor looks like a stock photo from MYP, like a stock animated picture.
I know what you mean.
With which lacks a lot of detail. And that Skeletor, like, he's the least offensive, but he's very flat. Like, he's not impressive at all. It's just a very bland, cheap-looking Skeletor. And I'm picturing Mark Hamill's, it tastes like copper voice coming out of this character. Like, oh, God.
The posing was really uninspired. It's like, who decided to make those blank poses?
It says a lot about Mattel that obviously that they wanted these images out to the public, but they sure as hell did put a lot of effort into drawing people's interest in. It's like, some intern just threw them up took a picture, and maybe the intern's roommate just threw up a background because he's better at computers than the intern is, and all right, well, here you go. Well, this is how to get the word out to people excited, and we'll have pre-orders out the ass. And it just looks so. That's my biggest complaint, is that these things just look so flatlined. There's nothing that says Kevin Smith swindling bullshit of like, oh man, we're going to be carrying on the what you love, but we're going to be some edgy and cooler and all with the fans. Like, he's so full of shit. God, it's like, well, could they pick a better pinch man than him? He looks like he's so delusional. When I see what we've got, your top players in this franchise look so uninteresting, so flat, and so cheap, so lacking in edginess for an adult-oriented cartoon, which we're not going to care to be having sex and stuff, but this is supposed to be more geared towards the older audience. And yet these look like they're toys made for 4-year-olds. They look so lame. And that skeleton, there's nothing imposing about the Lord of Destruction in this. This is not me holding on to Filmation or anything else, or the live-action movie or NYP. It looks flat. There's nothing that draws you in and says, oh, man, this is a new modern version of the Lord of Destruction. No, this is Captain Generic, and this is what he shit. And this is what we pulled out of the toilet, was this very generic-looking Skeletor. Nothing exciting at all about it. The shaping steps with, oh, well, I guess because you guys did a quick, watch on YouTube, watch like the second episode. Oh, well, we got to include that in there. That way we think we've done our homework. They pulled that shit with like the Thundercats He-Man crossover. They threw in Golden Distant Knowledge. Well, I guess they clearly know their stuff because they threw in an obscure reference. Don't question what they're doing because they did their homework. Like, I don't give a shit about what comes.
I feel like the pitch meeting should have been much better, because these photos, I don't know if they were supposed to be to the public, but if you're pitching this at your Mattel big thing where they're having all the new toy lines.
Well, hell, like Mattel, the Masters Classic, which I think is run by Val, and Axel, who works with Mattel, shared these pictures. So if they were not supposed to be leaked to the public, they were given to people who do work closely or associated with Mattel. So obviously, what we got here, none of this bullshit of like, oh, well, low resolution. Well, you need to look and look. No. Obviously, these things were given out or given access to people.
And no matter who, like you said, no matter who it was to, they should have made the poses better, because that's a hell of a first impression when you see things that are so static and not looking like they're ready for action. If they could have had Skeletor in a different pose, maybe it could have been better, because I look like, okay, I'm looking at Battle Cat. When I look at Battle Cat, he's so squanched down that he looks like he's just, I don't know, he looks like he's just eating a whole lot.
What?
He doesn't look lean, mean, muscular. It's like he's crunched down, he's got this goofy fucking helmet that looks oversized to the side. I'm like,
what a difference though between the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe one and the Revelation one, because the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe one looks like it's missed a few meals, and then this one looks like it ate the whole fucking buffet.
He ate exactly. I love that. I love that analogy. But you're correct. And that, I mean, I'll give it to him. Thank God, Battle Cat looks like Battle Cat, but that pose is not doing him any favors. Like maybe the mask, if it was pulled back and he was upright and looked like he was ready to fucking rip some of the pieces, maybe it'd look better. So Battle Cat was weird. But then when I get to He-Man, it's like, all right, another thing. Thank God you guys at least have him in an outfit where he's not covered head to toe. This is a fucking fantasy cartoon. You know they're in war. They're in battle. They're going to be bare-chested, bare-legged. They're not going to have clothes and shit to restrict them. So that's, thank God you did that with He-Man. I like the emblem being the H now. I've always been a fan of that. His head looks like a peanut. His upper body looks out of proportion and weird. And the sword, it looks like a mouthful, but it's elongated, so fucking long.
And it's thin.
So,
it's a pencil dick. Is what that thing is.
Yeah, super long and skinny.
It'd be like William
again,
Forsythe and Deuce Bigelow.
Yeah, He-Man's got a thing.
I remember that. Yep. But the peanut head, again, I don't understand it. And when you really try to zoom in at the face, I mean, he has this such look. I'm hoping that it looks better in person, but that head is so fucking small. But so He-Man, there's some okay things, but there's things I'm concerned. And Tyler, did you get the vibe of things I'm talking with, like the body? Something's weird about it.
Oh no, yeah, the initial first impression was like I was like Robert Downey Jr. in Lessons Zero. I'm with the raw. I was like, give me a bucket, and it just. He looks so wimpy. that they're He-Man. Like, if that's what the animated version looks like, not only does he sound like a pussy, but he looks like one too. There's nothing that says this is the most powerful man in the universe. I don't care what you're trying to push. I need to have a certain look. And I'm sure the douchebags like, well, look, he's got the hair, he's wearing the harness, he's on Battle Cat, he's got a power sword, he's not wearing much clothes. What more do you want? And then all I got to do is hold up a picture that Kevin Sharp did, or Axel did, or Errol McCarthy, or Earl Norm, or damn near anything else. Anything the Four Horsemen did. This is He-Man. And it's just severely lacking. I don't know what's the biggest offender with He-Man: his shitty power sword, his disproportionate body, or his goofy looking face. I have no problem with the chest, because I'm like, yes, I get people like associate Iron Cross with the Nazi regime.
Wait,
and shit
no,
like that.
Tyler, it's not an Iron Cross. It's an ancient Babylonian symbol. Grim, I'm here for you.
Yeah, because it is just a cross, but others do want to always associate and say Iron Cross. Then that would start putting a label on He-Man and saying, oh, He-Man, the words they start putting towards him. So at least, they gave him the H that we known from Battle Armor, Thunder Punch, Flying Fist, Dragon Walker, and all sorts of merchandise. So that I'm a fan of. Plus, it gives He-Man finally an identity of that symbol, just like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, and others. So everybody had an identity, but He-Man never did except his sword. But the sword just got really stretched. The neck area to the head.
It's like it's small. It looks like a children's toy sword, where the hilt is just enough for you to hold, like from the top of your hand to the bottom, and then you got about a good 2-foot blade. Just like kind of waving, or 4-foot blade. Just like, I don't know what the hell they were thinking when they designed it. Like, I wonder what came first. The shitty toy designs, or the shitty animated style? Like, are they basing those off of what Kevin Smith was like slamming his fingers like, this is what's gonna be great, and goofy looking figures and goofy looking animation?
I feel bad probably more than anything for the classic fans, because as you know, if I could, I would have kept collecting. I couldn't afford it. I went on, and yes, I like Origins, I collect them, but Classics fans really had the feeling and the vibe, and almost they were led to believe that this Masterverse line was going to be in scale and kind of fill in the void for the Classics fans. Maybe not identically, but maybe aesthetically, and have that beefiness. Like, all right, I'll collect this. And honestly, Tyler, you were the first person I thought of, because I was like, I know he doesn't give a fuck about He-Man and the Master Universe ones, because I don't. But these, at least it could have piqued interest. And I looked, I was like, who wants these displayed with their Classics? I couldn't even picture you saying, Joe, I'm going to put this with my Classic figures. Because nobody would.
No, and what's more bothersome too is that they stopped Super 7 from releasing more classics so they could do this bullshit. Mattel had to get back in the game, and this is what we got. It's. I'm a classics fan. It is by far it's hard for me to pick anything over vintage, because the magic of vintage, but classics was perfection, absolute perfection, and they addressed everything in all realms of He-Man and the Master of the Universe. And to know that Mattel decided they didn't want to do classics anymore and let Super 7 do it, and then decided, oh no, you can't do that anymore. We're gonna go back and do something He-Man related too. And you stop providing the best He-Man's ever gotten for this shit. For obviously something that's coming is gonna be a shitty cartoon ran by a snake oil salesman. Well, I have no faith. Like these 3 figures here, is it jumping the gun? Probably, but I don't care. We should be getting something that hypes us up that this cartoon is going to be everything that bullshit of Kevin Smith says, which, come on, people. Stop looking at Kevin Smith as a source of, positivity. He doesn't know anything about He-Man. He's never been a fan of He-Man. I still like to know how the hell he got attached to this property anyway, and why they decided to allow this guy who hasn't done anything good.
Pop culture, man.
Since Dogma.
Pop culture. He's been...
He is the most...
But you take his past and what he's done, and you take that he was really into comic books, you take the fact that he had a show on AMC, all that shit. It's the whole thing with that's how pop culture is now. It's like people looking at Patton Oswalt whenever Star Wars shit comes out.
He's the last person in the world I'd be looking towards for any kind of...
That's the way it rolls now, man. All right. A quick segue here. as most of you know, I spend most of my weeks at work just searching on eBay. I'm like, what do I want to collect this week? And then I got really into Spider-Man, and I have Toy Biz Marvel Legends from various Marvel characters. But I'm like, all right, I'm gonna kind of bite into it. I'll start getting some Hasbro Marvel Legends because I've been putting it off for so long. I would see the stuff in stores, and I'm like, that looks great, but I'm not gonna get it. And I'm kind of regretting that a little bit. But I got it in Spider-Man. I'm like, I'll get a Spider-Man. I'll get a lot of his villains. I'll make a display. I'm going to move the vintage Turtles down in the basement, put them at the arcade, make a cool display down there. Anyway, I almost lost my train of thought of where I was going with that, actually.
So now it's becoming the Spider-Man Crawl Space podcast, which is a good podcast.
Holy shit, I actually really did forget where I was going with that.
That's all right, man.
It's just Nathan likes to talk about himself.
Holy shit. Oh, man, I like completely just blanked out and spaced.
Well, while you're thinking of that, Nathan, we'll then get to the final character real quick. We have a character that when everybody's seen said, who's the new wizard guy? And then you seen the head off to the side and said, oh, that's Evelyn. Oh, with boots and leg pants and this gigantic fucking outfit to cover everything, and then these greaves here and parts to the gloves, a long hair that it's, remember, Evelyn has short hair, but whatever, now she has long hair, and a satchel and whatever shit, and I actually, like I said, when you look at it, I was getting a vibe of Castlevania, like an Alucard thing, but then everybody else was saying there's some new kind of chorus shit or some, I don't know what the elemental bullshit Grimm was talking about. Yeah, Grimm was mentioning it, but I was like, why change her? And again, now this is my point. If He-Man is in all the heroic warriors, basically, they've always been basically naked, more naked than the women. What's wrong with having Evelyn look like she has always looked like? Why do you have to cover up? Then are you saying that sexualizing? Then isn't it sexual?
Even on display, like
that's what I mean.
Even NYP, like her legs are on display, like
like you could still have the leg showing. It's like, is it sexualizing showing He-Man? No. So what's the problem? It's not like when we look at Evelyn, like, oh my god, I just want to squirt all over the screen looking at her. No, it's just that's her.
No.
Well, that's her. That's her fucking design. Yeah. You're like, I mean, that's her design, that's her look. She's a warrior, battle ready. Why did they have to do this head to toe bullshit? And some people said, well, Joe might be a part of the show when she's in a different outfit, but she might have her traditional. Then why didn't you show the traditional?
You know what?
If you're going to showcase,
maybe that would be the thing. They would do that, like have this look, and then now they can come out with the variant where she actually looks like how she's supposed to.
Well, this shit should have been the variant because nobody would buy it. Why didn't they just advertise and showcase Evelyn as we know her? If she's going to appear in that cartoon like we know her, make that figure. Nobody wants this shit figure. Looks like just a cheap knockoff figure. I mean, not of course the other figures do too, but she doesn't fit in aesthetically. It looks weird. And picture her in battle. Some people say, well, she's somebody that does magic. She's a wizard. She doesn't need to fight. But it's like,
who is defending the look? Because
the people who say that, well, she wouldn't need to run in battle, so that doesn't matter. It's like, no, you do need to run, because if you're getting fucking attacked, you got to run. You have this shit on, you're going to get caught up in your clothes. That's why.
It's no different than when DC went and changed Wonder Woman's look along with everybody else in the New 52 bullshit. Nobody wanted to see Wonder Woman all covered up. Because it's not about having material to bop your baloney to. It is the visual style that says this is a strong, badass woman. She's got a beautiful body and awesome powers. Like, it's not
just
about...
like the men. You're right, because the men are muscular looking. They're ready to kick ass. But the thing is, they need to be in outfits to where battle ready. It aesthetically makes sense. That aesthetically makes zero sense for her to be covered head to toe. How do you?
It looks ugly as sin too.
There's nothing
that it just doesn't look good. If you got those ultra conservative people who's like, oh, they don't want to sexualize a woman's body, but if they had a body that was like something to look at, they'd probably feel a little bit more different about it.
And that's
but if this cartoon is not more towards children and it's for an older audience,
like why would it even matter?
And I think it's only the dipshits that have these issues of saying, oh, we don't want her to look sexualized. It's like, we never thought that. Nobody that watched Masters of the Universe thought that. Everybody fucking fit in together and looked like they were ready to kick ass. This Evelyn does not look like she's ready to kick ass. That's our problem. So don't think, oh, you guys are mad because she doesn't look sexy. It's like, no, that's not it.
I like how you have a voice for people that are like talking against grain. Tyler has one too. It's hilarious how you both have a voice like when you're other people.
Well, it's the dork voice. It's that, it's the truth though. But really, it pisses me off. It's like they don't understand the property. They don't know the fans. They don't know that's not what we think.
Well, that actually brings me back. I do remember where I was going with that whole Spider-Man rant.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't know why I spaced out on it. So, I've gotten really into Spider-Man, and I decided I haven't played it yet, but I reinstalled the Spider-Man video game for PS4 because I'm like, I only played that a little bit. I need to dive back into that. And there's a guy that I work with that's really into video games, and he's playing video games all the time. And I'm like, hey, I thought about diving back into this. And he's like, ooh. I was like, what? He was like, I don't like Spider-Man. And I was like, why? And as I started talking to him, it turns out that he doesn't read comic books. He's basing his thoughts and opinions on these characters based solely off of the movies that are released and nothing else. So I'm like, well, yeah, no fucking wonder you hate Spider-Man. I'm like, you've only watched the shitty Sam Raimi movies and the shitty Amazing Spider-Man movies, and
hey, now Amazing Spider-Man 1 was not shitty. Don't try to lump that in there.
It was okay.
Hey, you can say the Tom Holland who could have been a good Spider-Man in the shitty
it was
laugh out loud comedy Marvel movies.
It was
like if it's based on that, yeah, Spider-Man's a pussy.
It was fine, but Amazing Spider-Man 2 was so shitty that I'm like, it all sucked. Now, the Tom Holland Spider-Man stuff, I agree with you. That first movie relied way too much on having Iron Man be there and be the father figure. I actually watched Far From Home last weekend. Not bad, but and I actually sat down and watched Endgame last night. And I finished it, and I'm like, yeah, that was fine. Will I watch it again? Probably not, but it was good. They tied it all together. What they did with that, having it, we won't get into that rant, but anyway, he based all of that on there. He has a Punisher tattoo, and I even told him specifically. I'm like, he showed me that, and I'm like, oh, is that like, the dumb redneck bullshit? You guys have the Punisher logo all over the back of your truck. He's like, no, man, I actually really like the Punisher. But then all he's seen is the movies. So I just look at him, and I was like, these aren't even Cuban, Howard. And he's like, yeah, I've watched that one so many times. I like Thomas Jane's Punisher. I'm like, that movie fucking sucks, man. I'm like, Warzone's not that bad, but that fucking sucks. The Netflix I didn't really get into, but I heard that was.
It sucked. The Netflix series sucks balls.
But I did.
That's not the Punisher at all.
But I did tell him, I was like, if you want to catch little hints, and you didn't care much for the Netflix, catch him in that second season of Daredevil. That was all right.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
So that kind of ties back into what I'm going with here, is that pop culture has shifted so much that I've said this before, it's not about us anymore. Yeah, we kept this shit alive. We've kept it going. That's why it's relevant. That's why it still exists. That's why it's here. That's important. But they don't give a shit about that. They see the Marvel movie opening weekends pre-COVID and everything. They see that stuff. They want to get those people onto that product. It's the same thing with wrestling. They sell the network to Peacock because the NBC streaming service has way more subscribers. Maybe that would put more eyes on their product. That's what they want. It's about the casual stuff. It's not the nerds that got it there to the point that it got at. They don't look at it that way.
And yet the nerds are the ones that are buying the merchandise, which is why Hasbro is continuing to keep making Star Wars figures based on the original 3 movies. And why all the new stuff keeps tanking.
I mean, yeah.
Why they keep going back to Generation 1 Transformers. Why they're going back to classic G.I. Joe. It's still going back to the old stuff because we're still the ones giving them the money that they need when they're not getting it from the new people. The new people are just going to see whatever new movie's going on because kids are more interested in watching the movies than reading comics and certainly buying action.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to rely now on, because both of these are going to be on Netflix. Netflix is a massive streaming platform. They want that to bring in that casual.
She-Ra was too, and no one gave a fuck.
Yeah, that was a flop. Absolute flop.
Not to go back, but I also felt like
we won't.
This has the potential of going down the same path as the She-Ra cartoon. Yeah. Where they're not really taking into consideration why She-Ra was still relevant. Why everyone is so quick to dismiss all of us that why do they even have a thought in their head? Because we kept it alive, and yet we're the first one shoved out the door and not allowed at the party, or that if we have complaints about the rules of the party, we're asked to leave. Because people are not about And yet people are so quick to forget the things that have honored all the original stuff tend to be the most successful. As much even though the Transformers franchise in theaters is pretty much, I don't know what's going on, but Bumblebee, I think universally was accepted more because it did respect the original fans, at least with the story it was telling, the throwbacks to the original series, and not someone in there and just, shooting their load all over the place and Michael Bay is awesome in it. There was no agenda. There was no, I don't like this, so I'm going to make it my own kind of thing. It was honoring the people that give Hasbro a reason to still keep making Transformers, was the fans that have kept it alive.
It's a shame that they have to watch so many things fail before understanding what's always there. Because like you said, if they just listen to the fans who have been passionate, who do go to the stores, buy all the merchandise, that order it online, maybe they think, you know what? I understand trying to get a new generation also, like how Nathan said with whole pop culture stuff, but it is us hardcore fans who are buying all this shit up. Go into a fucking toy store. Or not a toy store because they don't fucking exist. Go into a store where there's a toy aisle, and you're going to see us. You're only seeing adults most times. Like, okay, we're the fucking kids. So
and most of the toys in the stores are aimed at us anyway. If you go down Walmart, there's very few toy lines marketed towards 5-year-olds.
I know, but that goes back to the whole point of why they're taking these drastic measures, like you see at the bottom of the screen. Like they're trying to do whatever they can to maintain the hardcore fan base that's brought them to the dance, and try to find something, anything at all, that will latch on, that a kid may want to be like, all right, that looks kind of cool, I guess. I don't know, man.
But it sucks that they have to try it. Here's my prediction, and this is a guarantee. Origins is going to stay around, I think, for a while. Because fans at least...
Dude. I kind of feel
they're popping a lot of shit. It's like they are putting a lot of stuff out quickly, like maybe they think they get the band.
The quicker they get it out, the quicker that the stuff will get rotated out of retail. Because if the anime series for kids is supposed to be due out at the end of this year, in time for Christmas, which I don't know because I don't give a shit.
I think this is my prediction of why. I think Origins will stick around because meaning this year we are going to have Origins, the Masterverse, and the He-Man and the Master Universe figures. These He-Man and the Master Universe ones, guaranteed, it's going to fail. That won't even last a year, which means Origins will still be sticking around because there's plenty of people that every time you go to the store, they're gone, except for, yes, they keep reordering He-Man Skeletor.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to keep
Right, you have to, but and the Masters of the Universe ones, if these maybe have some kind of design look that's good, possibly, but there's a big part that people forget about, and it's not me fucking promoting myself, but it is with customs. There are so many people that buy the customs to either send to me to customize or I buy to customize. The new ones at the bottom of this fucking screen for the kids, nobody's going to want customs of those. I can fucking bet you money. Nobody's going to want them, and kids don't want them. The top ones, those have a possibility of getting customized, and if they look better in person, you might get the fans say, you know what, these ain't bad, but guaranteed that bottom one's going to fail, and we'll see how long Origins and the Masterverse figures stick around. But yeah, there's definitely going to be way too much shit in the aisles, and nobody's going to want them ugly ones. Kids will fucking hate them, and adults already do. Like, guaranteed, I'm not buying the new ones. The ones based for the kids, I don't give a fuck about those. The top ones, if maybe they did something to change some designs, possibly I might get some of those. Maybe. But right now what I'm looking at, the poses aren't flattering. They're not doing them any justice. And they look fucking rough. But maybe my opinions will change when we see closer-up pictures. But I don't give a fuck about any close-up pictures.
Any company that is announcing a new toy line does not put out, like, stuff that's super glued together and it's falling apart. Say, hey, check out the new shit we got coming for Christmas this year. It's supposed to be, this is it. This is what you're going to get. This is what we as a company have decided on and have greenlit, and it's ready to go. This is what you're going to get. This is what we want your money for. And this is what they want $25 for that. Not to mention, are they doing more of the DC? Because I could have sworn someone had posted that there was a leak of one of those goofy ass looking Skeletors from one of those Eternity War bullshit where he's got like horns and shit. Is one of the Masterverse figures. Like, isn't this what this is about? Supposed to encompass like DC, like New 52 designs and all that shit.
Okay, they did say yes, they're encompassing everything from the comics, DC stuff. Any designs they want to pick or choose, they could use. Of course, we don't know what we're getting.
But what they're not saying is it's not talking about referring to characters and designs of the past. It's more about what DC has, taken a big shit all over the property, and look at this design. Oh, Beastman with a mohawk and all these other goofy ass.
I see what you mean. No, I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, especially
I saw a picture which looked like it was a pre-order of Skeletor from the Eternity War, which he looked like Darkness from Legend. Like, what the hell is this shit? As one of the figures for this line, along with I could have swore I thought I saw back that Moss Man. Maybe just bad Photoshop. I don't know, but it just.
Oh, I know they did. They do they did a mock-up of Moss Man. I remember that one because some people thought it was official. So I'm not sure. I mean, I'm super excited knowing we're getting Scareglow of whatever vision that could be. I'm hoping they do him some justice.
You might want to bite your tongue on this. If they can't get He-Man and Skeletor right, what the hell makes you think they're getting Scareglow right?
Me just praying to be optimistic because I've been wanting him in a cartoon for years. But you're right. It could be another disaster. I don't know. I guess we're gonna see how everything just pans out when it happens. But this Christmas will be one nutty fucking thing in the toy aisles, and I only see two.
It might be just tumbleweeds.
Yeah, my predictions are there will still be distribution problems. I will have a hard time seeing them, and then all of a sudden it's just gonna be He-Man and Skeletor clogging the shelves, like everything else. And then they will reach that point where they're like, well, this isn't successful. We need to pull the plug again. And then it goes back. But, I mean, these are just first impressions. Things could change. I doubt they will. We'll see how it turns out. When these things hit the shelves, when the shows appear on Netflix, and we can check them out in all their glory, and talk about how either good they were or how probably shitty they will be. We don't know anything. It may turn out to be, And I mean, I know that is still disappointing for a lot of people, because especially for Tyler, because Tyler expects to have something great for this property. At this point, I think most of us, or at least me, I would, if it came out and was at least just passable, I would say in today's culture with how everything is distributed and how people are with stuff and how this shit comes to be, if it actually turns out to be just, oh, okay, like it's fine, that would probably still be as like successful in my eyes. I know that sounds shitty to say, but if they don't completely fuck it over, then I guess you have to sort of count that as a win, right?
Well, I mean, some of this stuff too is already put in line. Like they're geared up for like 2, 3, 4, 5 waves of figures that are going to be made and distributed. The series is greenlit for whatever. It may not get past their so-called 2 seasons.
I think it was 10 episodes.
10 episodes.
So, I mean, even then, if it comes to pass and is not great, it's just 10 episodes. But I think the main worry here is that this property hasn't gotten many chances over time. So if this fails, how long do you have to wait until something else comes to pass,
That's why I probably have to rely on another company to come in and say, hey, Mattel, you guys clearly don't care about your own product. Can we have the rights to do something with it? Sure, we're not doing anything. We'll go back to making Barbie and Hot Wheels.
I don't see Mattel doing that again. I think that was sort of let's test the waters with here's this company, Super 7, that's coming up, and Super 7 was doing all these things. I don't see, after this, the way that it's gone down with that and taking it back, I don't see them doing that again.
Yeah, probably not. But what's disheartening is that Mattel just doesn't seem to have that understanding that, okay, it's a hot commodity. It's a property that obviously makes you money. If this version doesn't work, you don't dismiss it and disown it and pretend like it never even happened and never touch it again. As we said before,
which they love to do. And they do.
And they are notorious. I mean, outside of the late 80s when they canceled the Vintage line and did New Adventures, the minute 2000X was over, it's like they wanted to wipe their hands clean of it. And, fortunately, the Horsemen, had their, I'm pretty sure it was their idea to do classics. And it obviously took notice by Mattel that the demand for these vintage-looking characters made them money. They did run things on a tight budget, but it did catch their eye of how fast the things were selling out. So to pretend like,
That's why I don't like that they're doing, again, we'll have 3 options in the toy aisles. And then, like you said, what if it just all fucking fails? And then they say, see, fans don't want Masters of the Universe. It's like, no, we do, but you're throwing so much shit out there. It's like fans like, okay, do I pick this? Do I pick that?
And it's not good shit either. It's not good shit. So.
No, that's another thing, too. And I swear to God, I wish I could duke it out with somebody who is in charge of making the decisions for this property. I don't care how Neanderthal like they think I am about things. Like I love this property. I've got nothing but Mattel products in this room. Okay, I am a supporter of this franchise, these characters, these heroes and villains, and these stories. I want nothing less than the emotions and thoughts I had that inspired me as a child to this day. That I'm still like paying guys to come up with my own images of these characters in battles and stuff, like for my own personal amusement.
And making your own mini comic stories, by the way.
Yeah, like I would do that for free. But of course, I believe me. The idea of me ever working anything professional with He-Man, if it ever had an opportunity, it would sailed years ago with the way I run my mouth in this podcast, and that some of the powers that be clearly don't like the things that I say about Mattel, so I'll never get hired by anybody professionally to work on He-Man. I accept that. I just wish I could come up with more ways to provide stuff to make people, give them, fun stories to enjoy that treats all these characters with dignity and respect. But I so want to call out someone in the most civil manner, no cussing, no, using, dick and pussy and all this other stuff. Speak to them, as a human being, say, why is this continuing to happen with this property? Like, you guys clearly are saying everything you guys have done since getting back in the game, since DC's put out comics, it's not having the impact that it should. I know nothing can replicate the power of what happened in the 80s. Damn near nothing is going to do that. We're fortunate enough to experience that. But these properties are still finding new life and new interpretations with Transformers and G.I. Look at G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe's selling like hotcakes right now. The last Turtle line was actually quite enjoyable. Me and Nathan can attest to that.
And when he says the last, he doesn't mean that Rise
of
the
Teenage Mutant. 2012. That one with Raph with his damn snaggletooth, that doesn't exist to me. But it's like, I know they'll keep trying. And why Mattel does not want to put in especially, and just say, look, all right, maybe it is not going to happen of drawing in an audience of younger children. It may not happen. So unless they put together something epic, like a live-action film that's not done by morons, and actually draws the attention of children when they see the commercials on TV or something like that, I don't think this line is going to attract children. Even if their parents are forcing them to take pictures with the toys and say, hey, look, my bastard kid loves it too. See, he likes it. Like, no, we know you forced your kid to pose with it. But I really want to know why the quality is not put in. Why the time? Why they're not hiring people who are above and beyond? I collected it as a kid. Give me a paycheck and I'll run.
Yeah,
Joe and I have discussed that out the ass. That someone who just collected it and liked it and maybe still likes it is not the right person to be running the line.
Yeah, why aren't they doing that? If you were to take people that actually gave a shit about it, like really gave a shit about it, like you did, why are these people not there trying to find a way to make it work instead of just basing it? I look at it as like at my old job, you have management who would never come out there on the floor and actually see things for what was going on. They're merely sitting at a computer and looking at numbers. That's not going to tell you the whole story. You need to go and
that's what I feel like Mattel does a lot too. Is I don't. Obviously it's changed over the years, but hell, when I watched that one interview that Dan did with a Mattel exec, the guy sounded like a damn robot. Like he it's almost like he knew nothing of the property. He was just reading cue cards. You don't really get the vibe that, there's someone in there that really is embedded in this property. I feel like at least you may not agree with everything Hasbro does with their properties, but they're acknowledging the mass amount of niche fans who have an appreciation for this character or that character in Marvel.
No, well, actually,
It's like
I got a prime example for that. Tell you keep going. I'll go grab that really fast.
All right. I just don't understand why Mattel is not embracing that. Like, you know, say what you want about MYP. Yeah, what killed them obviously is all the shitty variants. But I loved the way they were going with the re-envisioning of the characters. You know, like, I mean, Joe and I talked, like, all the redesigns were pretty much damn near perfect. You know, like, it was what we were familiar with, which is why when I saw the pictures of the 2-Up statues, I was all about every single one of them. There was not one. Joe, can you think of one outside of the variants that when we saw Whiplash or Cyclone or Prince Adam, that it was like, oh, Merman, Beastman, like, I must have it because he looks awesome and it's what I know, but different. That is what I wanted from this, and that is what I feel like us fans, male, female, whatever, deserve. Whether you listen to this podcast or not, everybody deserves to have nothing but the best from this line. If Star Wars can still get it, yes, I'm comparing He-Man to Star Wars. If Turtles can get it, if G.I. Joe can get it, you know, and anything else in between, DC and Marvel, He-Man damn near deserves it too. And I will not stop. I will not stop being ugly about it, or at least negative, because I demand the best. This property deserves the best, and us fans deserve the best. Joe deserves it. I deserve it. Everyone listening to this, everyone in the chat room deserves to have nothing but the best.
I don't deserve
that this
shit.
property can give us. Well, Nathan, you were a late bloomer.
Yeah,
you can get the leftovers. You get the sloppy seconds.
No, that is very true. But you were talking about how...
Yes, no, Nathan, because I've been hammering into Nathan's head about how awesome this line was, and here he is doing a podcast with me. Nathan deserves it just as much as anybody else.
Yeah, man, I'm over here spending these astronomical prices for these fucking classics figures. I deserve it too. But as you were talking about with Hasbro and the Marvel Legends and like that niche fan, boom, right here. Frogman. Like, there's a fucking Frogman figure, and a lot of people are like, who the fuck's Frogman? I thought the same thing when I saw it on the shelf, but you know what? I saw him, and I'm like, that's interesting. And what did I do? I went and looked up the character, and I'm like, that's a nice little backstory. He's in the Spider-Man universe. It's awesome. And they made a figure, and guess what? I imagine the case ratio for this guy is in a way where he's not going to fucking clog up the shelves. And those two people that want him and be like, oh, goddamn, Frogman. Oh, goddamn, pal. Oh, that's good shit. And then they pull it off the peg, and out the door they go. And you don't have to worry about him anymore. Get with it, Mattel. Fuck, figure it out. It's not hard. It's not hard. Hasbro's killing it right now. You go in there, no G.I. Joes, Marvel Legends, they'll show up, but people gradually buy them.
Oh God! Like, I mean, it could be looking for a certain villain, or a certain hero, and I mean, they're gone once that case is opened up, and you get stuck.
And that has nothing to do with the MCU and how popular that was, because those guys don't know who the fuck Frogman is. There's people there that give a shit enough about it that are like, all right, yeah, you know what? We're pretty well into this. It's selling well. Let's take this character. It doesn't have to be a massive run of it, but let's put him out there, see if he sells, and he does. Figure it out. Fuck. It's not rocket science. You guys are making movies and shit. When you go to make the Masters movie, you know what you need to do? Make it familiar. You don't need to fuck around with that when it comes out in 2038 or whenever. Which I don't even think that dude's even attached to play He-Man anymore. Because he...
Nope.
Yeah, so...
I saw that too, which I was just like, This is like, as if like, you know... Well, it's nothing we didn't already know.
Keep it simple.
It ain't happening.
Keep it simple. Keep it familiar. You can change things. It's fine. They've done it before. And I know people shit on the whole, well, they took this white character and made him black or whatever. In the right context, if the movie's good enough and the story's good enough, you know what? You're not even going to give a shit about that. So,
well, I'll tell you what. Make an example of that. Zodak wasn't misinterpreted because he was black. He's misinterpreted because he wasn't a cosmic enforcer. He was just an angry asshole, lost his brother, and sits and meditates and shit like that. Like, that's not Zodak. Zodak is the neutral, enforcer of the universe. He keeps the balance of good and evil. That's not what we got. Like, yeah, I loved it when it first came out, but in hindsight, no, that's not Zodak. You can make him black in a movie, I don't care, but he needs to be portrayed as to what that character is. You can make Man at Arms black as long as he is portrayed as Duncan. The Man at Arms, the guy that creates the weapons, that is King Randor's right hand man,
tough.
that is Adam's mentor.
It's not tough.
It is not. Really, you can make Tila black if you want to, but she needs to be portrayed as a bitch, or actually a more likable woman who earned the title of Captain of the Guard. You know, it's about how you interpret these characters, not going overboard and say you're doing it because we want bonus points because we've cast a black man and a white role. Look how woke we are, people. Fuck you. Cast the right person.
Yeah, and just make the story work.
As much as Ben Affleck's Daredevil was a piece of shit, casting Michael Clark Duncan as the Kingpin.
No.
Yes, all right. Yes, Nathan. I thought it was better than Batman.
You loved it. You still love it. I think Tyler's favorite scene is when Daredevil and Elektra are fighting on the playground and all that music playing. You love it. And then, oh man, he cried. He cried when like Bullseye shows up and he's taking people out. He was tearing up. I remember that.
He's just making shit up now.
I remember that.
But
it's not hard, guys.
Yes, it is not hard. Yeah, I just, we rant and rave about this stuff, and I'm sure people didn't expect us to say anything less than what we said tonight. But it's it's because we will not settle for anything less. Damn it! And yeah, I was joking at the beginning saying Origin, but honestly, like looking at the difference, Origins looks a hell of a lot better than what they're offering here.
How fucked up is that?
It really does. Like yeah, I mean those head sculpts look like shit, and I feel so bad for Clamchamp. God, it nauseates me. But damn it, it looks better than this lame ass Evil Lyn, this Flatland Skeletor, and this goofy looking He-Man. But the wimpiest, I have the power.
Yeah, you weren't here when I read your statement on the show, but you weren't really here for that. There's just not enough oomph to that.
People probably didn't care or weren't even paying attention.
Not enough oomph. You gotta make that transformation sound like he is going from a boy to a man, essentially.
Yeah, and and I don't want to hear. You got to hear it with the transformation sequence and all this. Like if Kevin Smith, Mr. Pop Culture himself, the guy who knows all about He-Man, thought it was good to play it himself live to put on social media. Because the guy from Walking Dead did the score to go along with it, which, God, this sounds shitty. I've never watched Walking Dead, but he certainly doesn't know how to do He-Man.
That's a whole other can of worms you don't really want to get me started on. Actually, you know what? I will. They started following the books and then deviated from that, which I have no problem with. And you have characters there that didn't exist in the comics, which I have no problem with. But it just relied too much on the villain of the season, and now we got to move from here to here, and then sometimes it would get dragged out, and then sometimes they had a lot of fake out shit, and it just once other people get attached into it, once it really hits super mainstream like that did, I'm like, I start to back away from it, because you could see the quality would dip, because it would start, once the ratings go up, you have to maintain all those people that joined. You got to cater to them. You're not going to cater to the people who brought you to the dance. Bring that full circle. So, figure it out, Mattel. Fuck. It's not hard. Sorry, Joe. Joe hasn't said anything for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's like, Joe, what do you sound like? I haven't heard you talk in such a long time.
No, I always enjoy the rants. That's what this whole episode was about.
Do you really enjoy it when I start going off and they don't stop talking? Do you really enjoy it?
He's probably like, shit, not again.
Yeah, it's like, God, this guy won't stop talking about his head's, bigger than my dick.
What stupid thing is he going to say that Nathan's going to have to go back and edit out later, which I've never done.
We've never edited anything on this show. That's what's great about it.
If we
speak our mind.
We have to apologize for it publicly.
Right. So, but no, if there's anybody in the chat room, if you guys have any questions you want to hit us with right now, or even your thoughts on this shitty stuff, pop it up in the chat room. We'll get to that. And Papa Huds, I don't know if you noticed, you've been chewing on my head or right above my head this whole time. But Nathan, any questions from last week or comments that you want to do while they're putting stuff? Because I'm curious to see if there's any questions or comments.
I do the thing like you did, and I forget to bring that up. I don't think there was much, again, in the way of questions per se. I would think it was more comment-based. Let me check. Pulling it up now. People appreciating our Kumite and said that we had a great selection. Descendants of Grayskull did have this to say. I blame a lot of the popular toy groups on Facebook for the sky-high prices for classics. Humans are like sheep at times and think if one fan of Scareglow can make a fortune, then everyone can, and it became competition amongst the big boy collectors. The rest of us who cannot keep up lose out to the greed and the ignorance of the rich. It's a crime. I kind of agree with that, because
Yeah, I do agree with that.
When people don't know the value of something they have, the first instinct is they go to eBay, and when they go to eBay, all they look at, they don't check on the box that shows what shit sold for at bid. No, they're looking at the buy it now price, and that's what they're like, well, shit, man, mine's missing the leg. It's got to be at least 3/4 of that price, and it's not. So you run into that a lot. Let's see. We did get, it was mostly just comments and stuff like, "Hey, good show, like the Kumite," and that was sort of the thing there. Not really questions, but if you guys that do leave us comments week to week, you know who you are. If you do have questions, go ahead and pop those down there in the comments, and we will read them on the show.
We'll get them read, yeah.
Okay, all right. I don't know if everything popped up out of order, but we have a question from Adam Gabbard. Joe, Tyler, Nathan, on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 it sucks and 10 is excellent, what do you give for the following Battlecat figures that we know we've had from the past till now? Well, I give, like I said, I know the some bitch doesn't have articulation. Who gives a fuck back then? We didn't know about that. I give the iconic vintage Battlecat a 10. I give classics a 10. I give, holy fuck, I'm not going to look at those 2000X ones, because the one a 5 and then the other is a 1 and a 1. Origins a 7 if they would have had articulation. It did something different with the face on that. The Origins I would have got a little higher to maybe 8 or 9, but Origins I give a 7. So that's about how I rank them. But yeah, and the shit we just seen previews of here, fucking the other one, Masters of the Universe, the new one,
they're all
the
scale.
kids,
They're
0.
Yeah,
So 0, and the one for Mastersverse I don't really fucking know because it's a horrible pose. So guess we'll see when it happens. But what are your ratings?
I'm gonna give the classics one a 0 because I'll never fucking own it because it's way too much fucking money on eBay. God damn it. 250 fucking...
You mean the classics version?
It's a lot.
$250 fucking dollars for a classics Battlecat.
It's a lot of money.
Fuck. I'm never going to own that. So I'll give the...
I do find that very disheartening when Nathan tells me he's missing the Sorceress, Cobra Khan, Ram Man, and Mantana. Am I right?
I got Mantana. Mantana's on the way. God...
That's
all
right.
of those that I got on eBay, I'm waiting for. Most of them processed through California, and I'm just sitting here waiting for them. I'm like, will you please hurry up?
Look, I want to put that out there because I keep telling Nathan, like, if there's anybody listening to this podcast that is has an extra or needs to sell some stuff, I want to make sure that Nathan gets a Cobra Khan, an original Sorceress. Hell, Nathan, if they had the Filmation Sorceress, which to me is far superior than the classics.
Oh yeah, See, it was on Big Bad, and I put it off too long, and it was sold out, and now that one skyrocketed in price too.
Okay, so I want to make sure if there's anybody listening to this podcast who's got any, like Cobra Khan, the Sorceress, either one, or Ram Man or Battle Cat, I want to make sure that Nathan gets.
I'm a reasonable man, but come on, guys.
Oh, and the guy has got cash, but don't be one of those eBay assholes like, oh, it's He-Man. Let me charge you $500 for it. No. But hell, if you're listening to this, I'd like to think you're not a scalper asshole or a scalper Nazi, as I like to call him. Because if you are, you probably stopped listening to this podcast a long time ago. That I associate with what you do with what Indiana Jones has to fight for a living. So. That you would give my good friend a reasonable price on something.
Help
like
me
this,
fill these holes
not be a Belloc
in my collection, and that's when the Sarah McLachlan song plays, and I'm just standing there looking at my collection, just kind of sad because
and you have like these very slow motion shots of Nathan looking up at the camera like with empty hands, and you know.
And then
we got to do like a GoFundMe, with Joe as he's eating food in front of the poor people like Sally Struthers and shit like that. Donate money. Send me your money. Send food. Send help.
Oh, and Living Color used to crack me up when they do that Sally Struthers that she was eating all the kids.
Yep. Joe's probably the only one who knows what I'm talking about when I say.
Yep, I do. Because she was eating it, taking it from the kids, and it was fucking terrible. What did she say? For just 60 cents a day, that's just the price for like a bucket of chicken and whatever else.
She's eating this. Yeah. Oh, it's brilliant. Kelly Collins. She was so underrated on that show.
Yeah, that was a great show. Fedmont said, question, has anyone seen the new Hot Wheels Monster Truck Battle Cat car? I've seen it online, but not in person. I was like, oh, it looks cool, but, yeah.
I understand the whole Hot Wheel thing, but fuck, man, I'm not interested in any of that shit at all.
No, I would get them from my nephew for fun because he still likes playing with toy cars and stuff. But outside of that, I'm like, I bought the Hot Wheels for NYP. It was a waste of money. Looking back at it, I don't, it's a fun novelty, but I only look for my nephew, and that's about it. Like,
I just enjoy the Land Shark and Wind Raider style. Those are the cool, but the other cars,
cool. And my nephew might enjoy them, but that's about it.
All right, Sportimus said, do you still hope that Mastersverse will do a better job on the other versions of the Masters Universe characters? He said they would cover various iterations. Well, of course, I'm hoping they do a better job, but if they execute it
better, there is no hoping against hope. It's just accepting the fact that they don't know what the hell they're doing, and we're going to get a bunch of shitty fakes until they realize this ain't making us any money. Well, pull plug.
I told Grimbot I wasn't gonna. Okay, I'll ask his fucking question. Will Joe Amato do a face reveal if Origins ends before Masterverse?
I think that's
line?
fair.
Because,
I think that's fair.
Let me give the context.
I think that's a good bet because Joe's the one that's like Origins is going to outlast everything.
But I gotta give the context when I talked to him. When I gave the context, I told him, I said, Origins will outlast Mastersverse. I said, I see them going for years. He was like, are you willing to... I don't know if I brought up first with somebody like willing to bet the mask. And I was like, maybe. He was like, well, if you actually say yes, you would do that. He's like, now people start posting in groups, all right, don't buy these fucking figures, quit Origins now. So Joe Amato will have to unmask because that's a rough one. I don't know if I have faith that Origins will last more than Mastersverse, but I can't say a yes because I can't unmask. That'd fucking ruin everything. You guys don't want to see it, and it'd ruin the mystique of the fucking show.
I think... Here's how I think that should go down. I think that when the three of us really collectively decide that we're going to end the show, I think on that last episode you should reveal your face.
I kind of feel like, I was watching Dawn Dragoon the other night. It kind of makes me feel like when Joe wants to show his face, it's like getting engaged with somebody for Joe. Like he's going to show his face. Like Joe is like the Oracle on this podcast. He's wearing red. You can't see his face. You want to know what it looks like, but you only see like parts of it in shadow or some shit like that.
I'll have a question to you both because this is serious. Let's say when the show comes to an end, which ain't gonna be for a long, long fucking time. But would you guys honestly want me to unmask? I mean, think of that. No mask, no sunglasses, no hat, just unmask. Would you even want to see
It's going to be no different than someone who gets famous on TikTok for 24 hours and then no one gives a shit after that. Honestly, I stopped. I wasn't one of those guys fixated on it. People would ask me.
I think for me, it's just having known you for as long as I have now and doing the show with you. I feel like I have a connection with you more than you have a connection to the people that follow you on Facebook or the people here in the chat room. So for me, it's a selfish thing of like, you know what? Like, I just want to see what Joe looks like. But I think he's paranoid that I'm going to hit print screen on my fucking keyboard and I'm going to say,
and you would.
No,
he's ugly. I
wouldn't do that. But it would be obviously be off air. And I would have to go get Emily. I'm like, Joe's going to take his mask off. I want her to be here to see what you look like. Cause she sent you cookies, man. You've eaten my fiance's cookies. So I think if anybody, she deserves to see your face over anybody, but I still hold out hope that one day I will see Joe. Cause I know he's all paranoid about what he looks like or something. I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. And I already, Joe, we have the same hair. I feel like we're almost brothers. We could be brothers.
Oh, and to let you know, in 2 days, I have to. It's getting way too hot. It was just marinating my fucking neck. I got to get my hair cut in 2 days. I can't let it grow any longer, Nathan. So I'm sorry, but yeah, that shit has to come out. I mean, that is way too much goddamn hair. It's too curly.
It is what it is, but one day I will see Joe Amato's face. There won't be any sunglasses or hats or none of that stuff. Eventually,
a fake mustache and a big plastic nose.
It will happen,
right?
And I hope one day he can trust me enough that I can actually. Maybe I'll do this. I'll be like, Joe, show me your face. I'm not even gonna. I'll put my hands up right here to where I'm not touching anything.
Yeah, but then Emily secretly got her hand off to the side.
No,
She clicks the print screen
I'll
button.
have her stand there with her hands up too, if you want me to. It will be completely protected.
But...
Unlike you, who's buying these vinyl gloves in a 100-pack instead of buying your Durex condoms. Having illegitimate children everywhere, all across parts unknown. Walking around.
We need our own brand of condoms with Joe's mask on.
Well,
if we could ever get like merchandise off the ground, like Amato condoms, you never find anything.
Imagine right on the tip, here on the tip, you got this. He's like, God damn. Never mind. I don't want to go.
I mean, how would it be? It's like, hey, hey, babe, how do you feel? Joe's inside you right now. What?
It's like, have a nice day.
Have a powerful day. Come on, man.
Oh yeah. I'll go by Joe's T-shirt. Did Joe's T-shirt have a nice day on there, or was that have a powerful day on T-Public?
It has powerful day for my shirt, and it's have a nice day for the Jason one I did. That is what.
Oh, okay. I guess.
Speaking of which, that we can segue that into a question, because where was it? I would have to find it.
Oh, I see where it's at. I am going to get it. Trust me. I see it is right in order. But let me first get to Eric's first question, which was, I wonder if Val Staples was used or consulted on any of these new lines. I doubt it, because it'd be so much fucking better. So no, I guarantee Val was not consulted for these lines. If he was,
no, Val's probably held a gunpoint to say something nice about it.
I like this line. This is great. It is the best. Fuck. Then Eric said, Nathan, where can I get that Scareglow t-shirt?
Funny you ask, Eric. There is a link down below that you can click on that will take you to Mr. Joe Amato's TeePublic store. If he still has this design up, what about all those other designs you're supposed to be putting up there, Joe? What happened?
He took all those down, which I want to encourage you people. We need Joe to take time to put up more of these card art illustrations for t-shirts, tank tops, sweaters, whatever you want to put them on. We have begged and pleaded like someone who's desperate for sex to get Joe to do this. And just whenever he's in the mood, he will upload one or two. Scareglow is still up. He's got access to others. We can't get him to do it. So, with your support, we need more motivation to get Joe. We need to get him to stop being so worried about his Ninja Turtle Link thing being nabbed by Nintendo. And get him motivated to give us King Randor, to give us Buzzsaw Hordak, to give us, Rio Blast, and whoever else he's got.
Blade.
Well, I've already talked to Joe about that. Yeah. Probably, yes. Blade is a must-have.
And we have to think, too, because I started realizing this. When it comes to buying shirts from, like, anything, I've lost interest in buying, because I have so many shirts, and the problem I'm running, I work so much that I'm not wearing shirts to be like, oh, hey, look at the cool design on my shirt anymore. So if Joe makes more of these, my plan would be to just strictly wear these shirts on the show all the time and nothing else, because that's like, 2 days off a week.
Yeah, this is my first time actually getting to wear a t-shirt, because I actually wore it out today. Because I other than that, I don't have too many reasons to, tank tops I wear in the comfort of my own home and, going up to the lake and stuff like that. But I like wearing something that's got something that says this is what I'm into, and you can't get anything interesting with He-Man on it anywhere, which is why I have to go to TeePublic, and if I get lucky, find some. God, there's so many fucking morons who put all this like stupid shit. I'm not. I'm just making a mockery of He-Man and Thundercats and Turtles and all this other silly shit on there. So if you get lucky, you can find something. But to get Joe to upload any of this stuff, or something that Errol McCarthy drew, like Joe did the Cobra Khan versus He-Man or Jitsu versus Fisto. Upload some of that stuff, that's what fans deserve. They need to get stuff just like we had on our PJs and our T-shirts, like my Buzz-Off PJs that I have over here with me sleep when I was 3-4 years old. Like I want that image on a tank top or a T-shirt.
So many of those pieces, that were just on those pajamas too, that nobody ever fucking knew about. So I'll see what else I can do.
Do it, Joe. And
what I'm saying, Eric, we need you to send Joe messages. Anybody else who's interested. Send him, bug these shit out of him so that way he has to.
Eric said just now, I need Clamp Champ. He had that design up on his store. Joe, put it back up there.
We had that shirt. Up for me. Me and Nick each got one.
It's great. So, Joe,
I was wearing last week if you watched the episode.
Go support Joe.
All redrawn.
Buy his shirts.
Yes.
Joe gets...
And they are all redrawn when I do them, but I will get more, I promise. But we will get a Sportimus question here saying...
Wait, no, you do have the Stilt Stalkers on there too, right? Still, right?
Yeah, go buy that one.
Okay, there you go. The Stilt Stalkers is on there.
Buy them all.
Yeah, that was fucking really fun to redraw. Because like I said, I paid, I think it was close to, $80 $8 just to get the
And
card
think
back.
about Joe spent Joe of all people spent $80.
That's life savings money. For
Exactly.
And I'll tell you what, it's like I said, there's no way I'm making profit back on that shirt design, but I don't care because that was the first time I've seen that image completely unaltered. It shocked the fuck out of me because I showed Tyler Link. I was like, Tyler, look at this. And he was like, holy shit. Because everyone you ever see, it's always ripped off the package. You don't see no art. I seen that and redrew just every fucking bit of it, highlighted it up better, but just to own that piece of unaltered art, I was just fucking excited. So
I mean, it just shows that Joe's passion. He spent more money on this than Mattel spent on these latest toy releases. I mean,
isn't it something? Because
it is.
I do, like I said, I do penny pinch when it does come to fucking food so I can buy figures. I'm like, okay, you know what? I will get figures, but yes, it means I eat more ramen, but I was saving up thinking, all right, might get a good batch of figures. No figures came. That fucking card back came up. I was like, I gotta get it. It's a lot, but fuck, I want that card back art. So, all right, well, let me see for the questions. I think Sportimus says, do you think there will be any PowerCon exclusive figures this year? If so, what style do you think they will be? What characters? I don't know, because it goes with also Aaron Anderson saying, any word on PowerCon, is it virtual again? I don't know if Val is updated to say if they found out if it's going to be in person or virtual, but he did make notes of saying they are going to do PowerCon again this year, though, correct?
Yeah, last I heard that there was still plans. I think that even the date is set too, but I mean, everything's. I think all of us are hoping that hopefully by summertime we're on a real path to progress, and it's being optimistic, I'm sure. But and that probably, I mean, I'm sure there'll be exclusives because I feel like exclusives don't really get announced till a little closer to summertime, like around April or May. That would, people can pre-order and stuff. Like the Lords of Power was the previous one, which I don't even know if those things got released yet. Have they even been released?
Yeah, they were shipped. They were shipped to people.
They were shipped.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I imagine it's probably either going to be Origins based because the other toy lines.
They won't do the other ones. That's a guarantee. It'll be Origins if there's an exclusive.
Yeah, those won't even be. I mean, hell, I couldn't imagine Mattel wanting to do exclusives for PowerCon for a toy that hasn't even come out yet. So it'll probably be Origins based. Probably just it's hard to say. I'm not gonna make speculations of that, but yeah, there'll be something. I'm sure.
It would be
right.
Snake Man at Arms.
Don't do that shit. Eric Munoz had a question.
That's when Val needs to speak. I'm saying, all right, look, guys. I can play ball here, but we're not doing this cowboy bullshit. No Snake Man at Arms in this piece of shit line.
Yeah, that would be great to not have and never see or speak of again. Eric had a question, said, when are you guys going to get Penny Dreadful back on the show? And because he said he'd like to see her opinion on this.
Jeez.
We are going to have...
But
she's
taking a break.
Taking a break for a bit.
Yeah, she's not missing action, but she's bowed out from the internet in general for a while. It's she's had her fill of these ass eaters that show up on various pages. Mostly on Joe's Facebook page.
Everybody, everybody knows that's great. Sorry, guys, and I'm not shitting on you. That's just like the fuckers somehow always follow Joe. All this shit happens on Joe's page. And you know what's weird is I don't know why it happens. Like I'll post a question and I'll say this, and then just people go fucking nuts. It's like, good God, why is this happening on my page? Like on here, I do the crazy insanity in the way I speak, but on Facebook and other things, it's always nice, cool. I always say everybody be civil, but sometimes crazy shit happens on my wall. But we usually take care of it. But yeah, she will be back on this show when she comes back to social media. Yeah,
she's a permanent member of our circle, with the Reverend E-Talk as well. Like we have our own inner circle that we converse with both of them too, and of course our Mr. Grimbot as well. It is, but yeah, she will be back.
Yeah,
absolutely,
we'll have them all back. Yeah, definitely. And the last thing I heard, I know. I forgot to mention this to you. Mark Taylor is still working on that He-Man book that, when he was on the show a few years
That pops up in my head every so often, wondering what the progress is on.
Yeah, I just talked with him the other day, and when it's ready and hopefully things go forward and greenlit, we're going to have Mark Taylor back on the show as well. So that'll be another episode. So I think the only final question was from Eric saying, is anyone going to PowerCon this year? Well, I'm not, and I don't even know, again, if it's going to be in person.
I think even if it was in person, I wouldn't go just because of the state of how everything is, and I don't need to get on that rant again of how how people don't seem to take it seriously enough to be safe and accommodate others who are. So
I'm seeing it's going to be virtual. I can almost guarantee that it'll be virtual again.
Yeah, that's. I mean, hey, I would love nothing more for things to get back to being better, where they actually could do it. But even by that point, too, financially, I probably wouldn't do it anyway, unless we were given an open, like Val's like, hey, we're gonna put you guys on the panel. We'll put you up in there. We'll give you like a high class suite and all this stuff. We'll fly out there first class and this and that. And,
all the food
you guys will sign autographs.
Yeah. See, no, that I think that's how he would get Joe to show up. He'd be like,
unlimited food.
Yeah,
some
no,
kind of
he's
buffet.
I was gonna say you had to tell Joe on the food, and Joe has to be carried around in a canopy. That way, he can take the mask off to get some air. Much like how Danny DeVito was escorted from stage to stage in Batman Returns to maintain the secrecy of his costume. That's what Joe's going to have to go through. Joe's going to need more security and more, people like an assistance crew than the Pope. Joe, like the Amato-mobile, but it'd be like a cardboard box with these wheels.
But no, I think the main thing that would get him there is he would be like, all right, we're setting you up. Your room is it's gonna be catered. It's here with room service, Popeyes. Whenever you want it, we'll bring it up. Bring it up to the room. Which brings us. Let's leave it on this final question. We'll give everybody a hint of what we have to come for next week and the following week. But Johnny Cox says, and Joe, we have to talk more about Popeye's chicken. When you use honey and hot sauce on your fried chicken, do you mix them together and dip the fried chicken? Pour both of them over a side of a wing and just bite in? How? So do you want to give them a method to your madness?
I don't like the white meat. It's only the dark. That's why I get the 7-piece dark. And I just slice open a honey and a hot sauce and pour it on each piece. On the thigh, you almost have to get 2, so that's why I always say give me extra hot sauce and honey. You bite into that, your brain explodes. Never had a taste like that in my life for any kind of fried chicken. Best fried chicken ever. I'm convinced they put some kind of drugs in there because it's addicting. But yeah, that's how I do it. Hot sauce and honey pack, each one, double up on the thigh. But thank you for that, Johnny, because now my mouth is watering again.
And Tyler... And
I don't exaggerate when I say that. It really does. But
not just mouth watering, about going in between 2 thighs there.
and fuck. Tyler, go ahead.
Joe's going in all raw dog again there.
Oh, jeez.
My condom broke.
Anyway, I don't even know how to suck from that. Tyler, go ahead and tell them what we got going on for next week.
Yeah, next week we kind of got our next couple of episodes planned in advance. Next week we're going to discuss the.
Just say it was botched.
Yeah. The botched create a character contest that was done for Classics, where we got Fearless Photog and Drago Man, but everything else was complete dog shit. And we're going to give our thoughts on that and who should have won the fan-created spot, and pretty much who should have fed up most of the line, aside from the 2 that we just mentioned there, too. So that is going to be our major topic of discussion. So if you love Drago Man, Fearless Photog, and the characters who didn't win, we're going to praise the hell out of those and then shit on the ones that did. And then after that, Nathan suggested, which I think Joe can appreciate this if Joe hadn't already been told, is we're going to give our top 3.
I think it kind of depended on the amount that we would be able to track down. So I think we would.
Yeah. Oh no, believe me, there's a shitload on YouTube. In fact, there's some on there that are not likely known by a lot of fans too. I
think we make it a top 5 instead of a top 3 if there's enough on there. So let's do top.
There's a lot. But we are going to do. We will be doing our top 5 vintage He-Man toy commercials.
Oh, I like that because they're all fucking awesome. But I like that. That's hard to choose. I like that. Okay.
Yeah, I just like one I want to, and I'll even share it in our Facebook group. Is the one which I didn't see till last year, which there's one on Jitsu and Stridor. I had no idea because like the guy who uploaded it was like virtually like very few views for it. It's up since it got more now, but it's one of those I never thought there was a commercial for Jitsu or Strider, and they're in the both same commercial. There's one for Clamp Champ and Ninjor. Oh, God, one of the best ones. And there's even one. I don't know if Joe has seen this one either because I found it in a commercial break. It was like a YouTube recommendation for a G.I. Joe commercial break, 1987, I think. Well, it has to be 87, and it was the I think Doors of Terror or what it was, is He-Man standing in front of this cave with 5 doors. Squeeze bursts out of one. Buzzsaw Hordak, Mosquito, Blast Attack. And it's just showcasing all these new villains, and He-Man's going to go up against all of them. It's not given its own video. It's only in a commercial break video. I've yet to see it by itself, but it's a commercial featuring the 87 Wave.
Yeah, that one, that doesn't ring a bell. I've never seen it, so I'm going to have to, definitely, you guys will have to link me on that. One quick thing from, where was this? Sportimus. Now, here's the thing, Sportimus. The thing about the whole Create a Character contest, that was something I told Tyler after last week's episode. That was going to be this week's episode, but the whole thing with these toys came out, and we're like, okay, we're going to have to delay it, because he said that Toy Guru did a video on the creative characters. We'll just let you know, we did have this idea before that video came up, so don't think that we were copying or riding the coattails.
Joe contacted me Monday. I was at work, and he said that he wanted to discuss the creative character contest, because I'm always pissed off about it anyway. And I don't know what Joe worked up about it, but I was more than happy to talk about how furious, and I explained Nathan about why I was so upset, and I showed him who should have won. He's like, holy shit, and we'll get into that next week. But it was just coincidence that Scott put up that video. Me and Joe both watched it, and like, whatever.
And JSP, we never had, this could be interesting. He said, have you ever reached out to Nathan Bittner to talk about Fearless Hot Dog? We have not, but hell, I could try to see. I don't know if he's on Facebook or some kind of social media. That would be fun, because you can only imagine him sharing the stories of when he was a kid and being chosen the winner of that. And of course being, well, fuck, they didn't make the figure when he was a kid. The line got canceled, only to then have it years later. That would be fun. So yeah, might have to reach out to him. I appreciate that, JSP. So, well, guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of ranting. We had a blast. Everybody pretty much, I think, was feeling how we were feeling. So got to get that out once in a while. Makes you feel better about yourself. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell so you can always be notified when we go live. And until next time, have a powerful day.
I once heard a wise man say, there are no perfect men in this world, only perfect intentions. Well, the wise man I'm talking about is me.
Yep. Sure.
I don't know. I have no clue on this one.
And Nathan has seen this quite a few times, and he probably won't remember this line, but he can't say he's never seen it. And I think Joe has seen this movie too.
All right. Well, if Nathan doesn't, we have 30-second delay to see if the chat, because usually JSP can get this shit, but we'll see if one of you guys get it, because I have. Gavin the Nerd said, "Is it Schindler's List?"
Yeah.
Hell no.
Yeah. What a great, uplifting, heartwarming movie that is.
I've never seen it, so I don't know. Sportimus said Happy Gilmore?
Like that. I don't, huh?
Happy Gilmore? That's what Sportimus said? No? A beautiful... now they're just throwing out ideas, because somebody said, good night, Johnny Cock. But, yeah, Gavin, there was like a beautiful
good night.
Mind. Yeah.
I thought he was pulling a baseball. Yeah. Good night, Johnny.
Yeah.
Cock.
Well, Nathan, if you don't get it, then we got 10 seconds for the chat, and then Tyler will have to give it to us.
Hey, it's Skid Mark Steve. Cock beer?
Yes, he said Robin Hood.
Yes, it is Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
How the fuck does JSP get these all the time? God damn it.
He takes the quote and just Googles it, I imagine.
Yeah, if he takes that long, he probably Googled it, so he cheated.
Could you imagine that all this time I'm praising him?
At least watched most of the movies that we have watched. What's that, Joe?
I was like, isn't it something, because I praise him all the time. It wouldn't it be terrible if he actually was cheating the whole fucking time? I have faith in him that he knows this stuff, but that would be terrible.
I don't. I'm pretty sure he cheats. That would be easy to do.
Oh yeah, it's amazing what you can find in a quick Google search. I mean, I just say the line, and it would be that hard to find. It probably even comes up as like quotes on IMDb also or something like that. So yeah, it wouldn't.
Robin Hood's great, but come on, man, like the Costner's fucking lazy in that. Everybody else around him is perfect, and I know it's like I'm gonna go there. The accent thing, like, come on, it doesn't even have to be great. Just at least try, and he didn't even do that.
Well, he does it once when he's rubbing horse shit on him, and he says, "Thanks for noticing me, sir." It's really shitty, like his accent. But I mean, yeah, I can't argue that his accent, but his performance in it, I do genuinely enjoy. but everyone else around him like makes it that much better. Like it's a kick-ass story. I mean, everybody that's in the film, from Alan Rickman, who's just amazing in it, and Morgan Freeman and Mary Elizabeth is stunning in it. Hell, even Christian Slater, he tries to do an English accent, he can't do it either.
But at least
it's like he starts out with it.
At least he fucking tried.
He tries, but then it fades away. Like then he doesn't have the accent.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What was that? Carrie Ells or whatever from Robin Hood Men in Tights. I remember he made a point of saying that. Yeah. Unlike some other actors, I can speak with an English accent. Like, ooh.
Yes. And I, as a kid, it didn't bother me. As an adult, I understand it. But honest to God, like, even though I'm a stickler for perfection and stuff like that, I love Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I absolutely love that film, and that his lack of an English accent, it doesn't take away anything from the film for me. It really doesn't. If his performance sucked, then I would probably lump that in there. But he does a good job, and he really does.
And the Bryan Adams song kicks fucking ass.
I like the instrumental version that's worked into the film. I don't know if Michael Kamen did that, or if they just, which he did the score for Robin Hood and Die Hard. And Roadhouse. Michael Kamen, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Like, he's one of the more unsung composers of film. He's no longer with us anymore. God rest his soul, but did an amazing score for Robin Hood. I don't know if he did the instrumental segment when him and Maid Mariner talking before he sends her away in the kind of romantic morning with the fog and stuff.
Go watch Roadhouse.
But
go watch
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Die Hard. Hell, he did the score for X-Men. I just realized. I just learned that not too long ago. I had no idea he did the score for X-Men. But Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. I love that movie. So I even got the movie poster in my room over here. The actual theatrical poster of it. Beautiful film.
I've never seen that. Film. Never seen that movie. Just seen Men in Tights. But
wait, what? Joe?
I swear to God, I've never seen that Robin Hood movie.
Can you buy him a DVD or
Oh,
Blu-ray?
Great. This is gonna be the new thing. It's like,
every episode.
Can you
what do I gotta buy Joe this week?
And make sure he gets both the theatrical cut and the director's cut, because they're two different versions, and they're both brilliant films. I don't want to hear any more of this shit that we can't discuss Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves at any point in my life with Joe. And then he says, I never saw, man.
Joe.
Well, Joe, it has a black man in the movie. That should at least want you to, you can relate to Morgan Freeman. He's black.
Joe, just start going to pawn shops and seeing if you can find it. I'm not going to buy him the fucking movie. Are you kidding me?
Every week he's going to be broke. It's like, when I got to get Joe now.
Is there anybody out there that can send Joe a
VHS copy of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves?
Or something? Because honestly, along with Dick Tracy, The Rocketeer, Batman Returns, there are certain films of the early '90s that all this grew up on. And Joe is saying
this is why Beyond Retro and Capes and Commentaries failed, because no one would watch, because Joe wasn't on the show, because Joe never watched any of the shit, and he just left us hanging to dry.
Yeah, unless it was The Last Dragon. Yeah. Which I will never ever forgive you for making me sit through that movie.
It's a great show, great movie.
It is not
fantastic. See you next time.
It's a fun movie. Joe. We're running out of time. We gotta go. See you next week. Create a character. Oh, actually, one last thing I did want to say. Thank everybody for getting us up to 666 subscribers. Mark of the beast.
Please, if you guys haven't,
we are officially the Omen on this.
Wait, are we?
Yeah, we were
Mark of the beast.
Before we started recording. We were at 666 subscribers. So thank us. Thank you.
What if that means Mattel's going to destroy us now? They're going to like Damon went to the world of politics and now works for Mattel.
Actually, I think what's going to happen is Gangrel's going to rise up from the floor with that badass theme song and then try to cut a shitty promo, and then he's never seen it.
Goddamn, that was an awesome theme song. They had to fuck it up when he talked. One thing, guys, I'm only superstitious of one thing, is I hate that fucking number. So please, if you haven't subscribed, get us off that goddamn number. Subscribe right now, please.
So Joe, have you seen The Omen?
Yes, I have.
And you know what's going to happen now? They're going to be like, "This is for you, Joe," and then they're going to jump off a building. See what you've started?
Oh.
Yeah, and all these weird things are going to show. A priest is going to die, and nannies are going to die, people are going to get beheaded, and then this crazy nanny's going to show up at Joe's house with a dog.
And then it's going to be like Amityville Horror, where there's going to be a bunch of flies that start sticking to the windows and everything.
And Joe's go, protein, and starts eating the flies.
And then he turns into the fly, and it all just comes together. But hey,
and it's just Joe's quickly head him was like Jeff Goldblum. He pukes on his friend and he sucks it right back.
That was disgusting. Goddamn, that movie freaked me out. That was gross. I loved horror movies, but as a kid, I was like, God, I wanted to puke every time I seen that fucking
maybe
movie.
we are at 667, but anyway, I just wanted to thank us. We'll thank them for getting us to 666 because I just wanted to be like, Mark of the Beast.
Oh, well, good. We're at 667 now. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All
right.
right. That's awesome.
See you next week.